This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Audrina Sinclair. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. A teen shot near a high school in Chicago's West Ridge neighborhood. Students are returning to class this morning to extra security, and they're telling us what they saw there.
And a deadly shooting at a gas station in South Shore, what police say led to shots being fired.
And the Illinois Supreme Court expected to decide today whether the former deputy who shot and killed Sonia Massey should be released from jail ahead of his trial.
But let's begin with your first alert forecast after a foggy start to our morning once again. As you can see, still lots of clouds in our area.
That's a cool shot though, Laura.
It is. It's so weird to see this. It's like in that off and on, it comes and goes. You get the tops of your skyscrapers, but then down at the surface, you're completely fine. So we're going to see that once again lingering at least Lakeshore into the early afternoon. Things are really improving out west. This is DeKalb right now. We can see those foggy conditions have improved, but we still have some patches here or there. Just along the lakeshore, though, is going to hold out a little while longer. Mid-60s and some 70s. 71 in Joliet, Aurora 66, and Waukegan, you're at 58. Seeing better visibility 2 miles out toward McHenry and Aurora and DeKalb. But then our forecast for today, as we go into the afternoon, some more sunshine coming on through. Middle, upper 70s and 80s for highs. Tomorrow is the day we got to talk about. We've been alerting of you on this severe weather threat all week long. We are looking at an evening storm threat here across Chicago. We'll dive into the timing and what this means for the weekend coming up.
All right, Laura, thank you so much. And now we're turning to your nonstop news, where Chicago police right now are still looking for the person who shot a teenager near a Northside high school.
That's right. It happened across the street from Mather High School in West Ridge as students were heading home yesterday. Darius Johnson is live in West Ridge right now near Mather with the very latest on this investigation. Darius?
Hey there, good morning. Yes, school started at 8 o'clock this morning. Students are now inside. Also inside with those students is a crisis team from the Chicago Public Schools, where they are assisting students and staff throughout the day. This was all just before 3:30 yesterday near California and Thorndale, right across the street from the school at Mather Park. Take a look. In this video, you can see students running through the park as shots were fired. Police say the shooter walked right up to the car and started firing shots, hitting that teen in the arm. We're told by the alderman and police that the teenager is a student. Right there in that video, you just heard the 3 gunshots that were fired. That student was then taken to Evanston Hospital, where he is expected to be okay. Earlier this morning, we had a chance to speak to students as they were headed into class about that shooting. Take a listen.
I was just at my locker, and then I just hear people like running inside the building from lower floor. And then everyone's like, oh, someone just got shot outside. And everyone thought like they were joking, but they weren't. So then we all got so scared. And then they announced it on the intercom. And then everyone just went to the nearest classroom. A lot of people just started calling their parents.
She went on to say that this wasn't the first time. There was another shooting that she recalls of during her sophomore year. That shooting also happening after dismissal as well. However, it happened a little bit further into the day. Also, one thing that we've learned from the Chicago Police Department is that there will be officers here during dismissal until further notice. We know they only have about 3 more weeks of school left. Meanwhile, Chicago police say no arrests, no description of the shooter. We're live in West Ridge. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago.
Darius, thank you so much for that update. An argument led to a deadly shooting at this gas station near 75th and Stony overnight. Police say a 40-year-old man was shot several times around 1:15 this morning. He died at the scene in South Shore. We're told the shooter got away in a white car. Police did not give us a make or model, though, or the license plate number. And charges are pending against a woman who reportedly tried to drive off after hitting and killing a man with her car.
It happened in the Chicago Lawn neighborhood, and the 75-year-old man was hit right here near 70th and Western. This scene you're seeing here was around 9:30 last night. Police say the woman driving the SUV drove off and then stopped a short distance away. You can see how damaged the cars are there after the crash, and the man was taken to the hospital where he died. The woman was arrested and charges are now pending.
A live look from Springfield right now, where the Illinois Supreme Court should decide today if Sean Grayson will be released from jail before his murder trial in October. It's one of the cases the court is expected to take up. The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy shot and killed Sonia Massey while responding to a 911 call at her home last July. He said he was afraid Massey was going to splash him with boiling water. His lawyers argue now is not the time to determine if his actions as an officer were criminal, but whether he poses a threat to the public as a private citizen. Grayson has pleaded not guilty. As we keep an eye on your world this morning, testimony continues in the Sean Diddy Combs trial.
And you are taking a live look right here outside the Manhattan courthouse. Day 3 coming up, and the prosecution's star witness and Combs' former girlfriend is expected back on the witness stand. Yesterday in court, Cassie Ventura testified about her decade-long relationship with Combs, telling the jury how he beat her, and testified to drug-fueled marathon sex sessions with other men, including one that lasted 4 days. Combs has pleaded not guilty and maintains all his relationships were consensual. If convicted on all charges, he could face at least 15 years in prison.
Hollywood film producer Harvey Weinstein's sexual assault retrial also continues today. A former model testified yesterday and was questioned about her private journal. In it, she wrote about at least 2 people who sexually abused her who were not Weinstein. Now, she maintained in her testimony that even though she didn't write that Weinstein abused her, he did.
50 years to life. It's a new sentence for Kyle and Eric Menendez in the 1989 murders of their parents, and this actually opens the door for the possibility of parole. Family members rejoiced after the resentencing hearing yesterday, and both brothers spoke emotionally via video, taking full responsibility for killing their parents, Kitty and Jose Menendez.
I think everybody in the courtroom was moved by that. They've said those words to me personally before. That was not the first time.
The brothers say they acted in self-defense after their parents allegedly put them through years of abuse. Prosecutors say they killed their parents to get a multi-million-dollar inheritance. Now, the state parole board will hold separate hearings for the brothers on June 13th. Governor Gavin Newsom will decide whether they should receive clemency. And President Donald Trump is now in Qatar for the day 2 of his trip to the Middle East, and it comes as he faces some bipartisan criticism for accepting a luxury plane from the country's government.
Before flying to Qatar, he met with Syria's new leader. Naomi Ruckham breaks down what they spoke about.
This morning, President Donald Trump departed for the second leg of his Middle Eastern trip in Qatar, amid criticism over plans to accept a luxury jet from the wealthy nation. The president last night on Fox News.
With the United States of America, I believe that we should have the most impressive plane.
The president wrapped up his visit to Saudi Arabia today, joining officials from 6 Gulf nations.
The Gulf nations are at the forefront of creating a stable, peaceful, and prosperous Middle East.
The president again repeated his desire to reach a deal with Iran on its nuclear program.
I want to do something if it's possible, but for that to happen, it must stop sponsoring terror.
This morning, President Trump also met with the leader of Syria, Ahmad al-Sharaa, along with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, while Turkey's president called in. The meeting followed the president's surprise announcement that he's lifting sanctions on Syria.
It gives them a chance for greatness. The sanctions were really crippling, very powerful.
The White House says President Trump urged al-Sharaa to join the Abraham Accords, which are a series of diplomatic agreements between Israel and several Arab nations. The president also pushed the Syrian leader to expel terrorists and help the U.S. prevent a resurgence of the terror group ISIS. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
The White House says President Trump secured around $600 billion in Saudi investments during yesterday's meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince. And still ahead, the nose is one of the most common places to get skin cancer. But getting that cancer removed can be disfiguring. We are looking at a surgical procedure that helps the nose regrow.
And United Airlines announcing some major changes to help you fly in style. We have an inside look at the latest upgrades.
Topping your money watch, Chicago-based United Airlines is rolling out luxury seating on its new Dreamling 7879 planes.
It is spiffy. It's got champagne service. CBS's Chris Van Cleve has an inside look at this.
This is the United Polaris studio. Think of it as an upgraded business class, a suite, if you will. There's an ottoman here if you want a guest, a 27-inch TV. Of course, it lies fully flat. This is an elevated premium product that United is launching. It'll be on some of their longest haul flights starting likely early 2026. And what it speaks to is the continued growth in premium. People who are willing to pony up extra money for a really unique, memorable experience. It's also an effort to better compete with some of the most luxurious airlines around the world. But as part of this cabin makeover, it's not just the most expensive seat on the airplane that's getting a facelift. All of the seats are. The regular business class, that's also getting bigger monitors, some changes to the hard product, if you will, the seats. As you go further back in the plane, everyone is getting bigger monitors and new, better food.
I saw it.
The first flights are expected from San Francisco to both Singapore and London in 2026.
That is fancy. I know. I wonder how much it's going to cost. Well, a team of engineers and doctors at Northwestern University developed a device that can take the guesswork out of breastfeeding. The wearable device measures how much babies drink in real time, and it sends data right to the app. Researchers say it will give new moms peace of mind and say it can be really helpful for babies in the NICU who have specific nutritional needs.
So great for babies at home who moms are trying to figure out how much milk their baby's getting, but also in the NICU, as you can imagine, it's super helpful for us to know actually how much milk the baby's getting.
Researchers say the device will advance lactation support and also reduce some stress by assuring parents their baby has eaten enough. Well, the nose, it's one of the most sun-exposed parts of the body, and it's really prone to skin cancer.
But removing that cancer can be quite disfiguring for a lot of people. As Dr. Malika Marshall reports, surgeons have found a creative way to make patients look as good as new.
Jean Marie Finocchio was a typical high school sun worshiper.
It was bad. You know, I had very bad burns. I always burned.
But for more than 30 years, she's been covering up.
I was always the one under the blanket, under the umbrella.
So it came as a surprise when 2 years ago, the 61-year-old noticed a small white patch on her nose. Basal cell carcinoma, the most common form of skin cancer. After 4 procedures to remove the cancer, she was left with a gaping hole.
Literally a hole. I could see the cartilage, I could see the inside of my nose, and it was hard to look at.
When someone needs to have a skin cancer removed from the tip of the nose, not only can it be disfiguring, but it can also cause permanent breathing problems.
And then we just find a way to reconstruct whatever is missing to kind of put you back to as normal as possible.
Dr. Linda Lee is a facial plastic surgeon at Mass Eye and Ear.
My goal is 1 year after surgery. Your cancer's cleared, you've finished your reconstruction, you're sitting in a brightly lit room like this, and people talking to you don't notice your scars.
To achieve that, Dr. Lee borrows skin from the forehead and attaches it to the tip of the nose, where it remains for several weeks.
At the beginning, you almost have a little hose giving your skin graft blood supply, and then after it's survived and it's happy, then you can take that little trunk of skin and just actually, in a second little surgery, we just throw it in the trash. I think at the beginning it is very scary because you look weird. In the end, patients usually are happy they went through it.
Jean Marie sure is. She said there was practically no pain, and friends and family are amazed by the results.
Amazing. They're like, I can't believe you had that. You know, you grew a nose is what they said, you know.
And most importantly, she's glad to be cancer-free. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Boston.
It's 9:16 on our Wednesday morning. We had a really cloudy start to the morning so far.
Yeah, but then things will flip in the afternoon.
Nice, flip it.
Sunshine, some warmth, some heat. Last time we were in the 90s was back in September.
That long ago.
Yep.
It really feels like it.
We did though. We hit the 90s in September, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had a couple of hot days in September.
Yeah, I guess we did.
I like that.
I always like September in Chicago. It's a really good month.
I think it's like the hidden gem. Like,
yes.
I know. Locals know like how awesome it is.
And October is good
great.
too.
Yeah, we get seasons. We really do. Sometimes intense. Short-term forecast, definitely going to be feeling more like summer, more like June, July levels. We're going up into the 80s. Closer to the lake, do find a little bit of lakefront cooling, 70s and some 60s. But look out toward Aurora and Joliet today, 82. Ottawa, 85. And compare that to 69 in the Loop. We've got that late lake breeze that's going to keep things cooler there. All right, let's talk about the forecast for tomorrow because it's going to be a hot one. 91 degrees for the forecast high. Lots to get excited about. But we do want you to be alert that late in the day we do have an increased risk for severe weather, a level 3 risk across Chicago, out toward Milwaukee, Chicago, northwest Indiana. Now the models have really been on back and forth. We've got a cap in place. If we can break through that cap, there's going to be a couple of isolated to scattered thunderstorms, and we're working with an environment that's really going to produce some large hail. That's going to be a big threat, damaging wind, and then an isolated tornado risk will come along with some of those thunderstorms. Between 4 and 10 o'clock, that's the window that we'll be watching for that severe storm threat. Plenty of dry time and a whole lot of wind too that's going to come along with it. This model saying not a whole lot's going to happen. I think this is a really good idea as far as the coverage goes. Scoot across the state line, and that's where we're likely going to see some more stronger and severe thunderstorms out across parts of Wisconsin as this cold front comes through. Fog, we've seen plenty of it this morning. At least we're seeing these numbers improve even right now as I speak. 5-mile visibility out toward Gary, 2 to 3 miles for McHenry and also Aurora. We've got that dense fog advisory just for a little while now. The radar, we're dry now. We've seen all those clouds clear. We do see an isolated shower, a thunderstorm potential here today. Few and far between. We've had this the last couple of days, so not everyone is dealing with rain today, 20% in chance. Now, first alert weather day for tomorrow, 91 degrees. It's still hot on Friday, 86 degrees. This is new here. We've got a small storm chance in the afternoon. Rain-free skies for the weekend, falling temperatures, especially on Sunday, 65 degrees, but down to the 50s for the afternoon. All right, let's go over to the First Alert Traffic Center on this foggy Wednesday morning. How's everyone looking out there, Chris?
Well, at least the fog is improving in spots. I wish I could say that for the traffic, but this time of day we start to get midday road work that kicks in. We've got a couple of special events going on like bridge inspections and a boat run. So here it is. You can see that we've got a couple of places where things are really starting to slow down. We've got the as scheduled bridge inspection on eastbound 80 at the Des Plaines River. Right on top there, they're either in the left lane or the right lane. They hang baskets over the side there so they can look underneath and make sure everything is nice and healthy there. Further down on eastbound 80, it's a parking lot from LaGrange Road over to Harlem because we've got midday patchwork going on. 2 lanes are blocked right there. And once they get done there, then they're going to move a little bit further east. I can already see signs of that starting to happen there, so watch out. As we get into the core expressways, things are pretty chunky still, especially on the Kennedy Expressway with the ongoing road work there. We're also resolving a crash scene on the outbound side of the Ryan at 83rd Street. 2 right lanes had been blocked. It was red there coming southbound from right around the Skyway, but now that it's starting to get amber, that tells me that they have just moved out of the lane. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, next we have a message from the new Pope on world peace, plus a group of students heading to Rome for Pope Leo's installation ceremony.
Ladies, good morning to you from the Chicago Botanic Garden up here in Glencoe. The space is so beautiful. This is the English walled garden. Take a look around. They also have little signs posted up by all of the flowers so you can see what you're looking at. And coming up in about 20 minutes, we are going to be giving you some tips for your potted plants because this is the season where you can get some great plants, pot them for the year, and just take a look and really enjoy them. So we'll see you right after the break.
Today, Pope Leo XIV says he will make every effort to help achieve world peace. He spoke about all the violence from Gaza to Ukraine and said the world should be outraged by the number of lives taken. And he said the Holy See is ready to help bring enemies together so they can talk and find solutions. And a Southside Theological School held a special mass for their most famous alumni, Pope Leo XIV.
The Catholic Theological Union is still bursting with pride nearly a week after the announcement of the new Pope. It currently has 200 students attending from 40 different countries. It's a special time for Augustinian priest Father John Lydon, too. He lived with Pope Leo in northern Peru from 1990 to 1999.
Looking back now, you didn't think you were with a future pope, but that's how God works.
Sister Barbara Reed and 6 Augustinians will head to Rome this Friday for Pope Leo's installation ceremony on Sunday. And today, Father Michael Pfleger is celebrating 50 years as a priest. He began his ministry in 1975.
And earlier this week, Father Pfleger told our Dorothy Tucker that it was Dr. Martin Luther King's visit to Marquette Park in the summer of 1966 that inspired his fight for social justice.
What I saw was all this racial stuff, the screaming, throwing of bottles and cans, and all. I mean, it was just, I never saw hatred like this in my life. But what was worse to me is I saw people there that I knew. Parents of some of my classmates. I saw people that lived in my neighborhood, some people who went to the church I went to, and I'd never seen this side of them. And then we finally get over to where Dr. King is marching. And I didn't even realize when we met him, he had already been hit by Iraq coming in off 67th and Kedzie. But Dorothy, to see his not being moved by all this hate and this name calling and throwing stuff and never responding to that, but just keep saying, we're brothers and sisters. We have to learn to live together. And I left that day consciously remembered to this day, riding home on my bike thinking either this man is crazy or he has some kind of power I want to know about.
A defining moment for him, and you can hear much more from Father Pfleger in his 50 years in the ministry throughout the day here on CBS News Chicago. And St. Sabina is holding a day of blessing today. Starts at 9, so it's running right now until 7 p.m. in the church parking lot. It'll include a gun buyback program, a food giveaway, which starts at noon. They're going to hand out 400 boxes of food there, and a kids carnival, which runs from 3 to 7. They've got games, food, music, and a bounce house as well.
And next at 9:30, a crackdown on misleading gym membership policies.
Yeah, there's new legislation aimed at stopping fitness centers from changing the term of lifetime memberships.
And while it feels like concerts are costing more these days, an offer from Live Nation for $30 tickets.
And this ain't Texas, but Beyonce's Cowboy Carter Tour is coming here to Chicago. We're getting you concert ready with Western-inspired fashion ahead of her 3 nights here.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and good to be with you. I'm Audrina Sinclair.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It's almost 9:30. Thanks so much for staying with us on this Wednesday. And ahead this half hour, we are getting you ready for Beyonce's Cowboy Carter Tour kicking off tomorrow night at Soldier Field. The country-influenced album has led to a boost in Western wear. And later in the show, we have a local shop in studio sharing some ideas to complete your concert outfit.
But let's begin with your first alert forecast after a foggy start to the day. Looking pretty good out there at Daly Plaza, but Laura, from those skyline shots, we're still seeing some of that fog stick around.
Yeah, we're going to see that off and on variety, especially closer to the lake here today. We still have that dense fog advisory in place for another 30 minutes or so, but overall, we're going to see improving conditions. Still working with a small shower chance, 20%, something that low, not even worthy of an umbrella, but there will be some isolated showers, a thunderstorm here today, mostly in the afternoon. While we wait on that, things are heating up and we're going to be nice and warm this afternoon. Mid-70s, upper 70s for highs with sunny skies in the afternoon. Farther inland, working up into the low 80s today. We still have that light to lake breeze. It's going to keep the lakefront in the 60s. Now tomorrow, hot day, high of 91 degrees. We are on alert for the potential of severe thunderstorms. The focus is going to be up in Wisconsin, up toward Milwaukee, extending to northwest Indiana. That's where we have a level 3 risk on a scale of 1 to 5. Farther inland for this yellow shading here, that's a level 2 risk. But we are looking at the potential for large hail, damaging wind, and possibly some tornadoes in the evening time period. We'll take a closer look at that timeline and those threats coming up here shortly.
All right, Laura, we'll see you soon for those details.
And breaking overnight, police are investigating after a 20-year-old man was fatally shot in the near West Side neighborhood. Police say he was walking on the sidewalk when a dark-colored SUV stopped next to him. Police say 5 people then got out of that vehicle and all 5 shot at him, hitting him several times. This was near 14th and Morgan, right by the University of Illinois Chicago. He died at Stroger Hospital. So far, No one is in custody. And faith leaders are asking for prayers this morning as police search for who shot and killed 2 men in Edgewater.
They say Rashawn Vance and Daryl Gibbons had turned their lives around after growing up in the O Block at the Parkway Gardens housing complex. The shooting happened Saturday morning near Broadway and Devon. The faith leaders say the victims had recently converted to Islam after attending prayer vigils. The Sun-Times says Vance was a gang leader and an associate of rapper King Von, who was killed back in 2020. Well, students are returning to school this morning after a major disruption on the south side.
Nearly a dozen kids, classmates, hospitalized after eating marijuana edibles. Our Marissa Perlman is live outside of Dearborn Elementary School with reaction from parents and from the school's principal. Good morning, Marissa.
Dana, Adrina, good to be with you. Yeah, we just heard from parents who came to school this morning to speak with that school principal about what was circulating throughout their kids' school. We're now hearing from the school this morning, who the principal is now confirming that 11 kids were hospitalized. Thankfully, all of them are expected to be okay. The question this morning, though, from those parents, how did drugs end up here on campus, and where did those drugs come from?
How did it happen, and why, and who brought it? And the same questions everybody else should have.
Ambulances rushing to Fort Dearborn Elementary School for a call of students overdosing just before 2 o'clock. Chicago police now say 22 students ingested what was later identified as edibles containing THC, 11 of those students needing medical attention. Now, in a letter home to students and parents, the principal says prohibited substances of any kind are not allowed at our school. They're now encouraging parents to talk to their kids about edibles and to not accept food if they don't know where it comes from. Those parents tell us the principal told them a student brought a box of cookies to school and was handing them out to students here. That's when staff started noticing students acting strangely and then took action. It's not clear exactly what those symptoms looked like. Here at Fort Dearborn, though, parents are calling for transparency, saying more needs to be done to hold parents and the staff here accountable.
I really would like to know where they actually get these products from. Because it's not easily accessible. Like, you could just go to the corner store and they're going to give it to a child, so it has to be an adult somewhere involved.
The principal says they're not providing any more information about what happened here, citing privacy reasons, only saying they're handling this matter in accordance with CPS policies. Now, as a reminder, the Illinois Poison Center warns adults to safely store your edibles at home away from kids. Don't put them in clear plastic bags. And if you do purchase edibles, try to buy ones that don't resemble real candy. We're live in the South Side this morning. Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago.
Marissa, thank you. The Chicago Board of Education wants your help to find the next superintendent of Chicago Public Schools. It is hosting community gatherings in every CPS school board district to hear what families, students, and educators want in the next CPS leader. The first meeting is tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8 at Steinmetz College Prep. That's near Belmont and Narragansett in Belmont-Cragen. On Friday at 6:30, the meeting will be held at Hubbard High at 62nd and Hamlin in the West Lawn neighborhood. There's another one Saturday morning from 10 to noon at Malcolm X College, which is near Jackson and Damon on the near west side. To find other upcoming meetings, you can head to cbschicago.com. One state senator is pushing to make sure when you sign up for a lifetime gym membership, you actually get what you're promised. The state Senate just passed Senator Christopher Belt's proposal to prevent gyms and fitness centers from changing prices or reducing benefits for lifetime memberships. He'll be speaking about the proposal with other members of the Illinois Senate Democratic Caucus this morning. Belt said he's trying to help people avoid deceptive tactics from companies looking to squeeze more money from customers.
Well, new this morning, Live Nation offering $30 tickets this summer for over 1,000 shows across the U.S., including at Credit Union One Amphitheater in Tinley Park and Huntington Bank Pavilion at Northerly Island. So the $30 tickets go on sale May 21st, and then they say they'll add more tickets for the summer. Concerts include Dierks Bentley, Russ, Kesha, Little Big Town, Cyndi Lauper, Rod Stewart, and Billy Idol. Head to livenation.com/ticket to summer for the full list.
Ooh, good ones there. Billy Idol, that's throwing me back to high school.
Yeah, and $30, I mean, that's cheap. I don't know if there's like a catch or they're going to add a whole bunch of fees onto it.
Or you're way in the back.
Well, that's okay though if it's $30. So you're in the building. Speaking of concerts, the Beehive getting ready for Beyonce in Chicago.
Next, we are live with a local Western shop to help you get your outfit together.
And we are taking it back to the Chicago Botanic Garden to talk spring and summer gardening ideas.
Oh, and the weather's going to be nice to be outdoors today. Highs in the 70s and 80s. Tomorrow, the hot day, 91 and potentially unsettled. More on the severe weather threat coming up.
Welcome back. All right, so the Beehive buzzing in Chicago as Beyonce's Cowboy Carter Tour comes to town. We got 3-night run in Chicago. Starts tomorrow at Soldier Field, and if you've got your tickets, you're probably still figuring out what in the world am I going to wear, and a little Western with a whole lot of glam is always a good idea. And joining us for some fashion inspiration, we got Manny Alcala of Alcala's Western Wear. Did I say it right?
Alcala's Western Wear, yes you did.
All right, I was telling Manny that my favorite cowboy boots are from your shop, a great shop on Chicago Ave. You've been around for decades there, right?
Yes, thank you so much. God bless, we'll be celebrating 53 years this year.
Oh, 53. Yes. That's amazing for a small business, so it's so cool. And since Beyonce released this Cowboy Carter album, so many people are looking for Western wear, not only the outfit for the concert, but just the looks, right?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. It's been amazing to see just the wide variety of people that are coming in, from old to young. Everybody's getting into Beyonce genre and all.
Oh, and I imagine that people who may not have come into your shop previously are now coming.
Yeah, definitely. She definitely has brought a new wave of new customers, old customers. So we have seen so many new faces come in and out, and it's been amazing to see, honestly.
Well, this hat that you brought me here, Manny, which I absolutely love, I'm going to put on here. This I'm imagining is one of the popular items there. What else are people looking for when it comes to Beyonce and like the Cowboy Carter look? And
Most
I love
definitely.
this hat, by the way.
You're very welcome. You look great in it. I think with Beyonce, you have to think a little bit outside the box.
Yeah.
You can't just bring in the traditional. You have to inspire what she does, and it's that fashion. You know, she really brings out what people are looking for, and I think that we got what they're looking. And with some of the outfits that we brought, I think we want to show you exactly what people are getting.
Yes, I love how you said it's that fashion. And let's look at the models that we have. So everything that you're about to see here with our models here in studio, let's go to them now, is sold at your store. Tell me about the first look here.
Yeah, so the first one, we call this the Sasha Vaquera.
Yes.
Of course, you have to start off with a Stetson Rancher 6X, a traditional hat that Beyonce herself has gone with. Then you go to the Rockmount French shirt, beautiful red floral design.
Cute. Oh my goodness.
And you have to tie it in with a beautiful bling bow.
Oh,
Something like that really makes it pop.
Bling
you know?
seems to be like the theme of the tour. Let's quickly talk about the rest of her looks so we can get to the next
And then we
model.
have the chaps tied in with the cowskin high heel boots. Of course, you've seen her flashing those chaps, so we had to tie that in as well.
Oh, absolutely. Here, I'm going to move this over for you so you can actually see the whole detail. Here we go. Let's do this. Yeah. There we go. Wow. I love the boots. And I love the fringe. The cowboy boots that I got from your shop, they have the fringe too, and I think that's also a big theme for Beyonce fans this year.
Definitely.
Let's
the
get
whole
the next
fringe
model
look.
in. I love this look.
This one is Carter's Cowboy. I'm sorry. We got to go with the Stars and Stripes shirt, of course. That's all you see on her album.
Yep.
Got to tie it in with the Levi jeans, 501 original fit. And of course, instead of the taller traditional boots, we went with a shorter style. You want to lift that up for them?
Yeah.
It's more of a casual.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I love that you said it's the regular fit that you got to do with the Levi.
Yes.
For the guys.
Yes. Beyonce herself is all about the Levi jeans, so you have to tie that in there.
Yeah, as soon as I saw her billboard with her Levi jeans, I'm like, I need them now. All right, let's do next model here.
And the last one, we call this one our Cowgirl After Dark. You gotta go in with the blue jean hat with the beautiful black French suede jacket.
Nice.
And the higher type style boots.
See, I like that too. And you know what I really love is the details in a lot of the pieces too. They add, like you said, that little like extra
Exactly. Some of this, you know, you can tie in with outfits that you have at home and just add the extra accessories that you can find at our store and make yourself a whole new outfit.
How fun has it been to see see people coming in and trying on all their stuff and trying to piece together everything?
Oh, honestly, it's incredible. The sense of style that everyone has, the pieces that they're putting together to really make themselves pop and show out.
Yeah.
This concert, honestly, gonna have some great looking people.
I can't wait to see the bling, can't wait to see the French. For people who have not been to your shop, tell us what it is, where it is, how people can find you guys.
Yeah, so we're at 1733 West Chicago Avenue. We're a family-run business. We've been bringing the vaquero and Western style to Chicago for over 53 years, and we really just want to show that this Western is not a trend, but it's a lifestyle, and Beyonce is really bringing that out for us.
All right, Manny, thank you so much. And how can people find out more about you guys? I know you're pretty active on Instagram.
Yeah, we're active on all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, Alcala's Western Wear. Please follow us or visit our store.
All right, thank you so much. And speaking of Beyonce concert, you got the looks, but one of the things that Laura's tracking with Soldier Field being the venue this year, Laura, is potential for storms, but you said it's not a sure thing.
Exactly, yeah, so we have to come over the cap and what we call it's going to maybe prevent those thunderstorms that come through. Some of the latest data is pulling in a few isolated thunderstorms just before the start of the Beyonce concert by about 5, 6 o'clock. The thing with these thunderstorms, though, if we can get through those thunderstorms, they're likely going to be severe and potentially really on the nasty side of things. But it does appear that as we pop these thunderstorms, we'll quickly get out of the area. It's going to be a hot summer night out there. It's going to be feeling pretty fine in the upper 80s, 90s for highs, and then by the concert time, we're looking at numbers in the 80s by 6 o'clock, 84, near 80 by 8, and then cooling off through the 70s. That severe weather threat has been increased, level 3 on a scale of 1 to 5. Farther to the west and south is where we've got that level 2 risk. All modes of severe weather on the table here. Large hail and also some destructive winds are going to be the two main threats with these storms, and then potentially an isolated tornado risk will accompany some of these storms. The window between 4 p.m. and 10 o'clock for tomorrow. Record warmth also in jeopardy here. 91 degrees set back in 1962. That's the record. We're forecasting a high of 91 degrees. So we'll see those things really start to heat up quickly. Plenty of wind to go along with it for tomorrow in the afternoon. Some 90s, a few isolated thunderstorms. This model run is really not spitting out a whole lot, and I think this is going to be the nature of the coverage here with those thunderstorms. But again, any storm that we do see will likely be pretty nasty. All right, nice look outside this morning. So much better from where we were earlier this morning with the fog. We still have some foggy conditions lingering. We're warming up nicely. 71 Kankakee, Midway, you're at 66. Fog and the visibility so much better. We still have 3-4 mile visibility out across parts of Kane County, out towards DeKalb. Lakeside still have fog, which will be off and on variety through the rest of the day. Now that's the chance with our thunderstorms today. We've got a spotty shower storm potential here this afternoon, coming to an end by the evening hours, and then we are dry through the rest of the night, and then we turn our attention to that severe weather potential for tomorrow. Have a weather alert day for you tomorrow. Just keep in mind as you make your plans tomorrow that there is that potential for severe storms in the late day. Another storm chance on Friday, then we're cooling things down. 60s for Sunday, mostly going to be down into the 50s for the afternoon. Then we've got at least calm, quiet conditions for next week. Hi, Chris.
I wish it was calm and quiet in the traffic department, but it's Pick Your Problem Day. So let's go to the maps. I've got lots to talk about all of a sudden, and we have a fine selection of things. We've got road work here, and a stalled semi there, and a rollover crash there, and a stall right there. So first of all, look at this parking lot. The eastbound side of 80 is absolutely miserable from before LaGrange Road all the way over before I-57. 2 lanes are blocked as they're patching the roadway. Semi blew out 2 tires, sitting in the right lane at Sibley on the inbound Ford, solid from 159th. Inbound side of the Ryan is solid from 71st into the locals at 51st. Rolled over box truck, 2 right lanes are blocked. Stick with the express instead. Further up, you're jammed solid from the Stevenson up to Ohio. On the outbound Kennedy to Ohio, the left lane is blocked. It's already tight getting through there. As you start to get into the roadwork zone, left lane is blocked with a stall. Wow. Have a great day, everybody. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
You. Well, Jackie's back today, and she's jump-starting your morning from the Chicago Botanic Garden.
They have a new art exhibit that we've been telling you about, but we also want to talk about gardening. And I know, at least I'll speak for myself, I could use a lot of help in that department. Jackie Kostek joining us live now from the Botanical Gardens. Hey, Jackie.
Dana, Audrina, good morning to you. Yeah, Dana, you are certainly not alone in needing some help in the gardening department. I know every time I get a potted plant for my apartment, it's got so much sunlight. I feel like I water it enough, but you start to see it yellow and you're like, again. And then I just leave it there for months. It's just not good. That is not what you would do. This is Heather Sherwood. She's the senior horticulturist here at the Chicago Botanic Garden. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so we all need a little help with our gardening tips, either both outdoor and indoor. We're talking specifically about outdoor right now, though. So where do we start?
I was going to say picking good plants. And
is where you
for
start.
me, when I go shopping in my production facility, one of the first things I always look at are the roots.
Yes.
So you want to make sure they're nice and bright, and personally, you always got to smell them, because if it smells bad, don't buy it.
And that that has like a dirt smell, but not a funky smell.
Yeah, it's no corpse flower here by any means.
Thankfully.
And the other thing I do is if I got anything yellowing or potentially broken like that, I pop them off right away, because we don't need yellow and dying. I mean, the leaves are yellow enough.
Yes.
And I love leaf color.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing when there's a lot of great, foliage here.
Yeah.
Yet, even if you see a couple yellow ones, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like a bad plant or going to die soon.
Yeah,
okay,
because
that's good.
most leaves actually, if they're not getting direct sunlight, they slow down what they're needing to do, and they turn yellow.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
In my container here, I added a little bit of soil. I pressed it down, but I'm not like smashing it down, if you will.
Yeah.
And then I put the plant in kind of vertical, and I always want to leave watering space.
Got it.
And so it's a little bit farther down, and then I like to backfill right away.
Okay.
And then I put in a plant, again, a little yellow color with this heterohelix or the ivy.
Yeah.
Nice, bright, white roots. Smells good. And then I stick this in the side like that. And
Got
again,
it.
I backfill.
And you just kind of keep pushing up and in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then you would fill up the entire
container.
The entire container, okay.
And I think down at our feet, is the finished one. But these are pretty easy.
That looks pretty good, Heather.
This is
I
a
think you know what you're doing. Yeah.
This is a scented geranium, and I love the leaf color again. It's the biggest thing in my world.
Yeah.
Versus flowers. And sometimes they take a little less maintenance and water as well. And so when I finally get this last plant in here real quick.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have been working so fast. If I were doing this at home by myself, this would probably take me half the afternoon, especially to make it look this good too. Heather, you also add some fertilizer, right?
I do. I don't like fertilizing
that looks good.
any
You are
way.
rapid fire. You are so fast.
This is a slow release fertilizer. It looks like little pellets, and as you water it, they expand a little bit and release a little bit of fertilizer. There are directions on the bag, and I just don't put it on the leaves. I sprinkle it in directly onto the soil.
Okay.
And I just kind of tuck it in there and have really good watering.
How often would you put that in real quick, the fertilizer?
About 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks,
Again,
okay.
you got to read the bag on it.
Yeah.
But I water this probably 2 or 3 times a week, so it might be a little quicker than what the bag says.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you're a tomato, you definitely want to probably add a little bit more. But the geranium's a nice, simple fertilizer. Is what you need, and I then don't have to think about it for the rest of the season.
Well, that's what we need. That's what we need. Heather Sherwood, thank you so much for your time this morning, talking us through some of the horticulture tips, the gardening tips that you can actually use both indoors and outdoors, because potting a plant, it's the same indoors or outdoors. I mean, don't let me be the one to tell you that, but ladies, back to you.
All right, Jackie, thanks so much. And we will be right back with the final look at your weather. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories that we're keeping an eye on today.
A 17-year-old boy is recovering after he was shot near a Northside high school, and it happened right across the street from Mather High School in West Ridge as students were heading home yesterday. In this video, you can see students running through the park nearby as shots were fired. Police say the shooter walked right up to the car and started firing shots, hitting the teen, and no one's in custody.
An argument ended with a deadly shooting at a gas station near 75th and Stony Island. It happened at 1 this morning. Police say a 40-year-old man was shot several times. Investigators said the gunman got away in a white car but did not give us more detailed information.
The Illinois Supreme Court considering if Sean Grayson will be released from jail before his murder trial in October. He's the former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy charged with the murder of Sonia Massey. Last July, he responded to a 911 call at her home. This is the video from that day. Grayson says he shot Massey because he was afraid she was going to splash him with boiling water. The justices listened to arguments this morning but have not yet issued a ruling.
A warm day today. We have some fog lingering across parts of the area, but we are improving in that department. 79 this afternoon, 91 tomorrow. Still warm and very windy on Friday. We've got some intense winds through Friday, Saturday, and then uneventful forecasts going through Sunday and Monday. We like uneventful. And like tomorrow, maybe a busy day too. We're talking about that Beyonce forecast, and hopefully we can get those storms out of the area just in time by 7.
I hope so. There's a lot of people at Soldier Field to have storms coming in, so I hope they miss it.
I know the organizers are on top of it, keeping an eye on the forecast.
Yeah.
Us too.
Yep, always, Laura. All right, thanks everyone for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues right here on the stream.
Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.